on Facebook much quicker than YouTube. I just pushed it and it was like, bam, done. So that's kind of cool. So hey, everybody, I'm Louis Porter Jr. It is Wednesday. Yeah, it's Wednesday. Wednesday, May 31st, last day of May 31st. And you're here for another lovely episode of Transparency Agenda Daily. Ooh, what are we going to talk about today? Today's got a lot of stuff going on. I didn't plan it that way. Some cool news came up, some stuff I wanted to talk about, some stuff I saw that I was like, ooh, let's talk about this. So I saw it and I wanted to talk about it. So in the words of my favorite person, Philip DeFranco, let's just get into it. So boom. I'm like Philip DeFranco now. I'm all excited. So first off, we got our top secret New World Order countdown Kickstarter. That's what I'm calling it now because that's all we're doing. 18 days. 18 days. That's 18 days left. That's all I got to say. 18 days. So our buddies over at Section Zero doing the comic book, they wanted to reach 62,000. They are currently at 52,000 with 24 hours to go. I smell someone getting pushed over with someone's checkbook. But, it's important to realize that they should, notice that they couldn't make their goal. There may not be enough interest in this book. Just thought. High Plains Samurai, I talked about that last night. Has it reached? I think it's reached its goal. Nope, it's actually it's a little bit off from reaching its goal, but it will reach its goal as it should. It's got 142 backers and 29 days ago, so I'm sure they'll do very well with that one. Wandering Monster, the decks that we talked about, they have 19 days ago. They've reached just over 18,500. Yeah, they're going to continue on doing well. Not a major surprise. And then I found this today. This is one of the two things I found today that were surprising. This. So, of course, Cool Mini or Not, if you're familiar with them, they've done several tons of games. They apparently released a new game they're doing today for their Zombicide, which I know has sold very well for them. And their initial goal was 300,000. And like I said, this thing's maybe a day old, maybe. And they've already raised 1.5 million. So, there's not really much I can say to that except for it must be nice to raise 1.5 million in less than 24 hours. I'd like to know what it feels like one day. I'm not going to try to lie and say like, oh, I would never want to know that. Yeah, I would like to know what that's like because that sounds like awesome to me. So they're guessing, initially guessing 22 million. I'm going to guess for this one, I'm going to guess like 3 million. They raised like 3 million and we'll see where it goes. I think 3 million should be very reasonable for them. It's not a surprise for them to pull that. No big deal. And then I saw this. This is the other cool thing I saw. The Arcanum 30th edition. Now, funny enough, one of my very good friends, Brian, over at Adventure Game Store, we were talking about this. Actually, he had an original copy, and all of a sudden today pops up that we find that someone's doing a Kickstarter for it. So I'm like, holy cow! This is an old thing that was released. God, it says in '83, but I remember getting it. I can't remember when I got it, but I got a copy. There's 3 different versions that came out. I got the second edition copy, and there are a lot of cool ideas and concepts in it. It's one of those, you had to be of a certain age, like me, now for nearly 47, to remember what this book was. And if you've seen it before, it was out for a while. I know a lot of people got it and just got it to get it. It's one of those kind of, it was like an add-on, but it wasn't, but it was to what was going on with D&D. And, it's kind of cool. And now seeing it the 30th edition, I'm like, maybe I'll get this new one. And I'm like, I don't know. Do I really want another book? But it's kind of interesting. So if you have the original one or you've seen the original one, this is kind of a cool little, oh, look, throwback. So I thought it was cool. So I said, hey, let's put it on the show. Let's talk about it. Just give you guys some information. Just something you might know. There's always cool stuff. We're talking about cool stuff here. Next up, of course, we got our buddies working hard over at Patreon doing work. Clinton, Owen, and Raging Swan. I think somebody put out something today. I can't remember who put out. My day's so busy. This how it happens. I think Clinton put something out, but I could be wrong. I want to just confirm that. Oh yeah, Clinton did a cartoon. That's what he did a cartoon yesterday. Yeah, yesterday that you should watch or actually read for all you who want to, ask a genie for wishes. I'm just saying, very funny, very true, you got to be careful. Yeah, that's right. And the usual stuff from Owen and Raging Swan. So good stuff. And they're doing well. We want to support them with all the money we can. Raging Swan, I still think is the best at the Patreon RPG game. of just, putting out products. If you're wanting to understand like what works well, take a look at what they're doing. I think they've got it down to a good science. You should just check it out from purely a business perspective. Of course, let's move to my favorite part of the show. Self-promotion. Yeah, shameless self-promotion. I admit it. Yes. We're still going to be supporting and, shamelessly supporting New Access Legacies. That has been doing very well. I literally just finished the first adventure before I went on, and I'll tell you, it is amazing. There's a lot of cool things going on with it, and I cannot wait to see people. The groundwork we're laying is going to be so awesome, and the payoff is going to be so perfect. I'm really amazed at work. Once again, Michael did some amazing work with this. I think this is going to be such a cool setup, execution, payoff that when people see it's coming out, they're going to be like, "Oh my God, that was!" I'm like, "Yes, it was. Yes, it was." And you took all that time. Yes, we did. Yes, because we wanted to make sure it was going to be awesome. So yeah, I cannot wait. Cannot wait to see when this gets through. Oh, just really. And Stonemeyer still had their piece up from last time. I don't know if they put a new piece up today. No, they haven't put one up. So probably maybe one tomorrow. They're kind of like that, He's got a real business. Diamond, Black Diamond. I don't believe put anything else. Oh, actually, that's true. Dialed in trade card. That's right. I saw this. I didn't actually give a chance to read this. So I'm assuming it's going to be something interesting for retail. You might want to check it out. And of course, as always, Gary Vaynerchuk as your daily reading, which I always expect you to do that. And some, that's very important. Now, let's move on to the new stuff on the scene. This is where today's title comes from. So you'll see some really cool things, and you'll ask some silly questions, and this will be interesting. All right, so let's start off with Secret Empire #3. If you haven't read it, I don't want to ruin it for you, but I will say that I am officially, I can't understand where Marvel's going on this whole series. I think they're going to have to pull themselves back a real far way, and I don't know how they're going to describe a lot of this stuff. I mean, like I said, I don't want to ruin it for you, so you can find this link and find out who they're talking about. Like somebody, a very well-known Marvel hero joins Hydra, and it's one of those moments of, but it makes sense and it doesn't make sense. So it's one of those, that's okay, that's interesting. So we'll see where that goes. I'm not 100% sure about that idea, but I think it could be interesting. It could be a nice spin to things. But once again, I'm waiting to get this whole entire thing as a trade paperback because I'm not putting in individual and waiting. And just give me a trade paperback. I'll be good to go. Next up, here's something I just found out. Sin City TV series in development. That's right. Frank Miller's Sin City is being, developed. Which I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. They're going to do Sin City as a TV show? And, I'm not going to lie. When I heard Sin City as a TV show, the first thing that blurted out of my mouth was, why is 100 Bullets TV series? And, I'm a 100 Bullets fan. Everybody who's ever read 100 Bullets knows how much of a fan I am. I love that book. But I can't figure out. I mean, it's great to see that Sin City is getting its own potential, TV show in development. But why isn't 100 Bullets getting its own show? I mean, it's 100 Bullets. As much as I like Sin City, 100 Bullets was so much better and so built for TV. I mean, good Lord, that show is so built for TV. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous how good that thing is. It's amazing. God, it's amazing. One of my favorite books. If you didn't know that already, it's one of my favorite books. Yeah. And for a little fun, and the next up for a little fun for people like me, season 3 of Flash is on Netflix. Because of Netflix, I can't watch Flash episode to episode. I might miss something because I do this show. So I'm like, screw it. I watch it all at the same time on Netflix. So I'm that guy. They talk about who's streaming the whole season. That's me. I'm that guy. I'm watching it. I'm enjoying it. I'm having lots of fun with it. And I said, I love the series. I love the series. That was good. I just don't have time to watch it. It just comes on a bad time for me. That happens. That's what happened to Supernatural. I said Supernatural I really loved. Well, let me stop lying. I love Supernatural from seasons 2 to 5. Then after that, and then I saw 6, and I was like, what is this? And then it just kind of fell off for me. And I know it's on season 14, 12, something way past its prime, or a little bit long in the tooth. And I'm like, why haven't they killed these guys yet? I don't understand that. But I digress. That's not important. So finally, this is something funny, and I'm going to tell you a little story attached to this. This kind of gets the whole story of what the title's about in this video. Rob Liefeld inducted in the Wizards World's Hall of Legends. All right. Some of you are laughing very loud while this is going on, that Rob Liefeld got inducted into a Hall of Anything for art. Rob Liefeld is not considered to be is not considered to be a good artist by a lot of people. Not everybody, but a fair amount to go, who would give Rob Liefeld? Oh my God. And it's like, his hands are horrible, the feet are horrible, and oh my God. It's ridiculous. So Rob Liefeld's probably not one of the greatest artists. But I have actually a little love for Rob Liefeld, and this is why this will tie in. I think Rob Liefeld is a type of guy who's probably been in the industry so long, and he's a hard worker. He's very much a hard worker, but they keep seeing good gigs. If you're a muff up and you can't get stuff together, you don't get gigs in the industry. That's just the way it works. You don't get gigs if you can't handle stuff. The cold water. So, he must be semi-competent, and he must be a friendly guy because he keeps getting work. So, fundamentally, maybe he's not a bad guy. I think, and maybe on a personal, if he's trying to be a bad guy, he's just not a good artist. I've always said that. So, we're going to take a little trip back in the Wayback Machine. So, I have a very interesting and direct connection to Rob Liefeld, and this is very, very weird. And you can laugh a little bit about this if you're a comic book fan. So, way back in 1982, I graduated college, and I was working down at a Suncoast Video. This is how old this was. A Suncoast Video in Maryland. I got tired of working there. I said, screw it, I'm going home. I went over home on winter break, and I never came back to that job. Went back home to Connecticut. So friends of mine at comic book store I go to regularly were like, look, man, they got an open position at this company called Attic Books. You might want to go work there. I'm like, oh, okay. What's going on? Just trust me. Go down there. You'll probably be perfect. I know the guys. I'll hook it up. So, buddy of mine, Pat, hooked it up. So I got this job working at this company called Attic Books. All right, let me put a little context to all this. Before in the late 80s, early 90s, there was really only one price guide people were using. It was the Overstreet guide. Overstreet was considered to be the perfect guide for comics and stuff like that. At the time I got working with this company, Attic Books, comics had started getting really, really popular. It was the first real big time of the big wave with the upswing of comic books are going to be awesome. And I got in at the beginning of that. And the company I worked for, Attic Books, had a magazine they were doing called Comics Values Monthly. A lot of the older retailers, like older than me, will remember it being called CVM. And it ran for several years. And when I got there, it was a monthly. They were starting as a monthly comic book price guide. And at the time, there's no other monthly book. We're talking this is before Wizard. So we're out putting stuff out, and I got a job working for them. And my first job with them, I'll never forget it. My title, I didn't have a title before. It was my first real job out of college. My title was Research and Dealer Liaison. That's what they called me. It's a real impressive title. And so basically, what I did is I'd go to comic stores on Wednesday, read through all of them, see all the information if stuff came out, put it back with the next book, this person's first appearance, this person thing, and then had to summarize it and put it into files and make the book for the printing. And this is like 93, and we weren't even, and InDesign didn't exist. I think PageMaker just come out. Or it hadn't come out. We hadn't had it because we didn't have Macs, and it hadn't come out, and Quark was still, I think, Mac only. This is how old this was. This was a long time ago. So I worked there for a while doing that. And during the time working there, my buddy, Pat, who owns Cave Comics in Newtown, Connecticut, Pat and I became very, very good friends. I love comics. He was a comic store owner. Very natural for me to be friends with him. And so, and he knew I was a big comic book fan, of course, big Titans fan. Actually, I got to get this book. This is important. So, and if you're wondering, the Titans Omnibus. Yeah, I don't mess around. It said, how much was this book? I remember $75. I got it for something like 50 something on trades. It was ridiculous. So, back in the day, this book came out. And this book was huge. This book was a huge book, important book. At the same time this book was going on, Rob Liefeld had just become really popular. It's just, I guess he started to be popular. No. Sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit. So you need to see this. This is from 1982, 84. This is the infamous issue where Robin and Wally the Flash leave in a costume on the ground. It's a great issue. Now this page, Crossroads, and this spread are the first 3 pages from page 39. So here's where it gets kind of interesting. So years later, when Rob Liefeld does his first book of Youngblood. Youngblood? No, X-Force. Sorry, X-Force. The first page of X-Force has a spread very similar, and I'm not going to say very similar. He copied it. Let's just be bluntly. He copied the first page and the spread from the page I just showed you, and put them in for X-Force. You can find, just type in X-Force #1, first 3 pages. Google it anywhere, you'll see, and compare it to Noon Teen Titans number 39, first 3 pages. You'll see there it is a copy. The Titan ones came out a decade earlier. His came out much later. He copied it. Look, I'm not mad they copied it. I'm lying when I say that. He copied it and he used it and promoted it. Now, a buddy of mine who owned the store, Pat, Cave Comics, saw it. He told me, he was like, hey, did you see this? And I saw it. He goes, here, because here's the thing. And showed it to me directly. I'm like, oh my God, that's so crazy. I'm like, I got to tell somebody. He's like, well, you should call up the Comics Buyer's Guide. At the time, one of like the legitimate newspaper of comics at the time. And you should tell them what's going on. And I knew some people there because I worked at CBM and just the same kind of circles. So I said, yeah, I'll do that. So I call them up and I tell them, they're like, oh my God. They're like, oh my God, we got to put this in the paper. I'm like, yeah. So then they put it in the paper. Okay. This is also a time before, like, when Wizard became really big and stuff like that. This is still very early on. And this is like 90, 93-ish. 92-ish, 93-ish. It's that early. So and the Comic Buyer's Guide was a respectable newspaper that everybody picked up. We're talking, this is pre-internet, so don't think this. None of this stuff existed. It was all paper, and that was the thing you read. So it came out. I forgot what issue it was. It's been it's been 20 plus years. They compared the both pages of Rob Liefeld's and the George Perez one, and on the bottom they write Lewis Porter of Danbury, Connecticut, by way of Cave Comics. Notice this, and they put my whole name on it. My name. Now, I got to remember, I worked for a price guide. So I was in the industry talking to companies, doing research, getting information, that kind of stuff. I mean, it's crazy when you think about it. They put my name in there like, and that could have killed my business. And I was doing business. So that's one of those real crazy moments. So when I see this Rob Liefeld, so I've always had this connection to Rob Liefeld because of that little moment. So whenever I see Rob Liefeld getting stuff like that, I never try to diss him. I just think it's funny because I go back to my little mind. I'm back to I'm 22, 23, reading this. Yeah, 23. Jesus, I didn't realize it was that long ago. God, 23 years old, looking at this, finding this guy's art and being like, this guy copied. He's a total fraud. And then to see him getting an award later on, I'm like, oh, And see, it just proves the point. It isn't about if you're the best guy in the world, if you're the worst. Just be consistent, man. Just keep coming out with stuff because someone will give you an award for it. I mean, hell, he got an award for it, and you've seen his artwork. It's not like it's gotten any better, which is kind of sad because you think it'd get better. But it did not get better. His artwork did not get better. So that's the funny moment of that. Yeah. So weird. Once again, Rob Liefeld and I. That happens a lot in my life. You'll see, if you stay on the show long enough, you'll hear me tell some of these stories and how my life just crosses over with people in the weirdest sort of ways. And, a lot of it goes back to, I always tell people, the first job working at CBM was probably the best job I ever had in my entire life and got me started doing all this. Without that, I wouldn't have been able to do this. So the job itself was crazy, and I'm glad I did it. And I couldn't have asked for a better job. And what I learned from it was amazing and got me into doing this. So it is a cool thing. But like I said, it is also retarded that I'm the guy who got to pull on, Rob Liefeld and tell him that, you are copying pages. And people talk about it, people still talk about it today. And it's funny because, it's like if I could find, and I used to have it like, in a frame in my house. I live in Baltimore. And God knows where it is now. But I thought it was funny. It's like I got a moment to to be infamous. That's kind of cute. I like it. It's a funny story. If you hang out with me long enough, I'll tell you the story about my buddy who threw up on Clive Barker at a con. That's a funny story, but That's how crazy it was. Oh God, little Maddie Sanger. I'll never forget that. Going to New York. That was a crazy con. Oh God, that was such a crazy con. Oh, that was so crazy. That's what you did when you're 20 years old and you're in the comic books. You go to New York and go to cons. It's great stuff. All right. Let me get back to normal. So yeah. Yeah. So we got lots of good stuff coming out. I might actually have some more new stuff coming out from people, from some of our buddies doing stuff. I haven't checked out Inza Guy's site in a while for reviews. I've just been kind of, doing some other stuff, reading some other stuff, getting legacies together and working on the site and doing all kinds of fun stuff. But we're moving along. Everything's moving along. This Friday, we'll be releasing the final adventure, for Crisis the World Eater. So if you support the Kickstarter, you're getting your free copies. If you want to buy it, it's available now. Or you can buy the whole collected one. I forgot the price. I think the collected one is $9, $10, something like that. Or you can buy them for $5.49 a piece. I think I gave them. Yeah, I gave them. Yeah. So it's like you pick the way you want to pick it up. One's relatively cheap. I go with a 3-pack. Plus, it also includes the first adventure we did, A Warning Too Late. I keep saying we. I really just told, hey, Michael, we're going to do this. And Michael did all the hard writing and stuff. So he's the one who gets the real credit for that. That will be available also with it. It's a great 4-part adventure. I'm planning to get that together so we can put that out in book form very, very soon. I'm going to actually get that together. That's something that's in the front of my mind, but of the stuff they're pushing at it. Plus, I've got to look at some monsters. I got to start doing some cool stuff with monsters. That's another trick I got to do. And I got to finish reading these adventures that Michael wrote me that were awesome. Yeah. The first one, Kaga, was awesome. I'm enjoying it thoroughly. Well, I enjoyed it thoroughly. Now I'm going to move on to the second one. Yeah, lots of fun. This is going to be lots of fun. This is why I do that. I do it because it's fun. That's why I do this. All right. All right. So that's it tonight. That's everything. Tomorrow will be Thursday. Will be our recap show. And then Friday, don't forget Friday. Very, very important. We're going to be having Thurston Hillman come and talk to us all about really all about the cool stuff going on with Pathfinder and being a freelancer and getting in and organized play, because he is also doing the organized play for Starfinder. So I'm sure we'll get some Starfinder stuff. So if you're looking for Starfinder, if you're looking for Pathfinder, looking for organized play, looking for freelance stuff, we're going to be talking about it. I hope I can get him for an hour. Speaking of, I got to call him to confirm him and get everything set on Thursday so he's ready for Friday. But yeah, everything's going great. Ta-da! All right, everybody. Before I go, of course, do your favorite. Go here and subscribe. We always appreciate when you subscribe. It's very important. That's on YouTube. Or subscribe to us directly here on Facebook. Or you go to our New Access Legacies page and join. I know some of you haven't joined. I don't know why you haven't. Don't you know it's going to be awesome? Hey, if you don't think it's going to be awesome, why don't you ask Scott Fernandez what I just hinted to him on the page, and if he thought it was awesome? You ask him. If he says it's awesome, it's awesome. If he doesn't think it's awesome, then don't worry about it. You just ask him. Say, hey, Scott, so was it awesome? Watch him say it's awesome. All right. So everybody, it's good night and goodbye. Do yourself a favor. Go and kiss your mother and your father. They love you and they miss you and they think about you. So if you give your kids a little hugging kiss and tell them that they're fantastic and you love them, because they need to hear that. All right. I'm getting out of here. I got some more adventures to read, and I got to finish reading House of Cards. Well, watching, but they just started that. And then I got to watch The Flash, so it's going to be a busy weekend for me. All right, everybody. I will talk to you all later.